All right, so welcome to another episode of the Brand Blueprint, and I have my man Blake Thompson on here. And this is probably going to be personally my favorite episode because I've just been working with him for so long. He's been helping me level up my content and my brand, going from 900 followers to 90,000 followers and going viral on Instagram. But more importantly, the impact that I've been able to have that I didn't realize that was happening for you, going from, you know, living in your parents' house and, you know, just having one client and then, you know, crushing it, getting over, you know, 10K a month to crushing it to like having a 16K month with some days left in the month to go. So this is definitely going to be one for the book. So you guys make sure that you grab a pen and a piece of paper because we're going to be dropping some gems about personal branding, marketing, position yourself, but a lot about mindset, perseverance, because I really want to talk through some of that.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy that you say that. Like just all that little bit of a backstory, because I can remember specifically when I moved out to Hawaii. I came back for a vacation, and we'd already been making videos and content prior to that. I was just doing videography at the time, and you were like, dude, like, come back, let's start an agency, and like, I'll help you out, I'll help you scale this thing. And I did exactly that. I came back. As soon as you sent me that text, I still have the screenshot. I told Madison, I was like, I need to commit to this. I need to stay here. I need to stay in Tennessee. I flew all the way back. I got my stuff, came back, and I got locked in, dude. Like, yeah. And that was October, like 8 months ago. Yeah,
it's so funny just thinking back to when did we start, like when did I even get introduced to you? Because Michelle, our neighbor, introduced me. She was like, man, I got this young kid and he's a hustler. And you should have him either doing your content or on your sales team. And at that time, I was looking for a sales rep, right? Because that was the thing.
That's true.
It was with the meetings. And obviously, we were going through some pointers on the content. And I was like, I think you should just help me with the content. And he was like, yeah, I think I like that better.
Because you onboarded me for the whole sale.
Yeah, for sure. And I was like, man, let's just do the content thing. And that was probably one of the better decisions that I made, just because at that moment I was like, man, I'm doing this digital marketing thing. I'm trying to get clients, and I just really didn't have the personal brand. I was reaching out to people trying to get on podcasts and stuff like that. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to level up. I need to get my social score up. And so in 2023, I didn't know what I was gonna do in regards to branding, how big I wanted to go, but I knew I wanted to commit and focus to the personal brand side just from watching it was Alex Hormozi and Iman Gaji just blew up. Just some people, Andrew Tate just went viral.
All those people
online. And I was like, well, what asset do I have besides the skill set and doing the work for clients, or like my intellectual property that, you know, in this space, after 2 years, it kind of goes away. I'm like, man, I need to build a personal brand, something that can make me money when I'm sleeping, build a reputation, but ultimately be a legacy, right, for the track record that I've been putting forth. And bro, I'm telling you, all of the stuff that you had me doing, you know, being the old man, I'm like, no, man, I don't want to do that, and we need to change this. But like, you know, you really helped me to really level up, and you know, you've been there since the beginning, right? We went to
literally the first podcast. It's insane to think about.
Yeah, we went to St. Louis, right, on the death flight.
Yeah, and we had all the turbulence. It's crazy to think because, like, at that time, like you said, you were asking me if I want to do the sales and the videos and stuff like that. And I have been watching videos on how to build an agency, this and that, every single day for months prior to even meeting you. I even told my buddy Lawson, I was like, I need to start an agency. I need to, like, I'm gonna find a mentor. And then I just knew when I met you, I was like, whatever I gotta do. If it's sales, it's sales. If it's videos, it's videos. I liked making the videos. It was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I knew at the time, like, meeting you was more than me making the videos. It was what I could learn from you.
Yeah.
And it is crazy because, like, now, I mean, we're sitting here filming this podcast in my apartment.
Yes, really cool. And I can't tell you, but I ain't gonna lie, I can tell you actually that having FOMO and just being so impressed that, like, man, this view, panoramic view of Nashville is absolutely beautiful. The sun isn't even out, and this is perfect it's a perfect day, it's a perfect setting for a podcast. And I'm driving back from Indiana last night because I'm moving, and I'm like, man, we've got to make this happen. And I'm like, hey, what you got on your schedule? Like, man, I'm gonna move this around, and this is just kind of the perfect moment. So,
well, we've been trying to get this thing done this is your first time coming here.
Yes.
I've been here for 2 months.
2 months.
It's crazy.
Yes.
There's just been so much on the schedule, and we've been trying to get this thing knocked out. And so I knew as soon as you said you had the 2 hours, I was like, I don't know what I have on my schedule, but whatever I do, it's getting moved. And we were able to make it work, so I'm really glad.
Yes. So the one of the things that I do love about, like, what you do is you're a creator first and foremost, and, like, you got this gift and vision with the camera, which means that you have this side that you can see things that other people can't see. And you don't really get to see that until, like, you're in action, which is going to St. Louis. I saw it a little bit, but when I spoke at the Impact event and I saw you just kind of running back and forth with the camera, I was like, man, I don't know what he's doing. And it looked unorthodox, but I was like, oh, he's got a good vision, which means that you have a unique skill set in being behind the camera, which means that, like, that creative moment, you can make people to look their best on camera, right? So you have that. So I was like, okay, got that part. But the tenacity and the work ethic, man, because I can't tell you how many times I give people advice about, if you do this, you can get this result. And you take that advice and you run with it.
Yeah,
right? That's the thing right there. It's not just the information, because we don't need more information, right? We need implementation. What are you going to do after you already know everything that you need to know?
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, I think prior to meeting you, nobody above me was, like, ever doing anything, like, substantial, really. I don't want to say not substantial at all, but nobody I met was doing it like you, and it was exactly what I wanted to do. And so having known that, like, I didn't have any direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. Like, at the beginning, I didn't even really know what I wanted to offer and who I wanted to work with. And so anytime that you had some piece of direction for me, it was just like, I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to do it. And then as I learn to figure this out throughout the way, if there's some things I want to shift around and move around, then obviously I can. But I don't think there's anything that you tell me that I shut down. It's like if I'm asking you and you got an answer for me, I'm going the same day and I'm figuring out how to put it in place.
Yeah,
it does. It has worked so well for me. I mean, it's crazy because I give a lot of credit to myself, but I give so much credit to you for, like, even getting to be in this place and have my agency and work with the people that I work with, because, like, I probably would have just fumbled it, you know? Like, I would have maybe not put in all the work, or I would have just gotten discouraged and just moved on to something different. Like, you've seen it better than anybody. I have shiny strategy syndrome, like you like to call it. And I'm always looking for the next best opportunity, the next best thing to do. And you're just going to keep me level-headed. You're like, dude, like, just stay put.
Gotta focus, man. There's so many.
Is working.
Yeah.
You just have to, like, more input, turn up the volume, crank the heat.
Yeah, for sure.
I always appreciate that.
Serge talks about this all the time. Shout out to Serge. And he talks about the rate of change, which is, it's like, you have the information, but how quickly can you implement it so that you can get the result that you're looking for? And that's one of the things that I hang my hat on. It's like, I don't waste time. But, like, we're doing something, it's like, boom, like, dang, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go. Yeah, it may not look the best. I may have misspelled one letter in there, but I'm already done, bro. I'm moving on. And funny enough, I've had a misspelling in one of my best performing ads, and it still made me $1 million.
Yeah, and I've gotten that from you, because I remember when we were setting up your YouTube channel and everything, and you had this idea, and then it was the next week, like, John and all those guys were coming over, we were sitting down, strategy, we were at the whiteboard, just, like, figuring it all out. And then it was like a month later, all this content's being put out, full boards, team, everything. And I'm like, moves fast. Like,
yeah.
And you said this one time, and I've always stuck with this. I love it. Success loves speed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's about doing the implementation, but it's also about how fast can you implement it.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's an iterative process that, like, success loves speed, and you need momentum, right? And so a lot of times in success, you're trying to overcome inertia and create momentum. And a lot of people are creating inertia, right, and trying to gain momentum. And what you need to do is like you need to get something going forward in order for you to get where you need to go. Because once it starts rolling downhill, like it doesn't matter what else is in the way, like it's unstoppable. So I think that like if anybody can get around me or get around you, the first thing they're gonna really understand and see is just an action taker, which is like everybody's kind of standing around talking and you look up and you're like going down there and came back and it's like, yeah, I'm done. Like what's next? So I think that's important. Another thing is important that you always talk about is building a personal brand. And you are so passionate about, if I hear you talk about building a personal brand one more time, bro, you just like, you're so passionate about it. And it finally got ingrained into my head where it's like, you need to build one. And I'm just curious on why you're so passionate about that and why do you think it's so important?
It's really simple. Like I started in sales. I was going door to door. I was selling pest control, solar panels, alarms, you name it. I was going door to door. And one thing that really like became clear to me is that people buy from people. And so I figured if you're going to build a brand, or if you're going to try and like gather attention around an offer, more than likely those people are going to buy that product or service from you, right? And it, you know, it really depends on the product or the service, but 9 times out of 10, whatever it is that you have to offer, somebody else has the same thing to offer as well, right? They can get the same result, they can do the same thing, it's just coming from somebody else. And so what I kind of realized is that if I can go get the same thing from this guy and this guy and this guy, well, who am I going to pick? I'm likely going to pick the guy that, one, helped me out the most, somebody that I like, resonate, and trust. And ultimately, that's why I believe in building a personal brand, is because if you can sell to somebody that, if you can reach people who like, know, trust you, they're going to buy from you rather than the guy who they don't really know much about or don't really trust at all. So I think building a personal brand is huge. You can gather a shit ton of attention online just through posting content. Organic is huge. Paid advertisements, like that's one way to just reach a ton of people. And if you've got content out there, it gives people a platform to just automatically see you. They can become familiar with you a lot faster than they will if they have never met you. So
yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, and so you know, just having an agency, right? Because at the time when you started helping me, I was doing $300,000 a month with my agency, and it's like, bro, yeah, I'm doing $10,000 a day with my agency, and you're just like, what? This is crazy, right? And so it seems like a lot when you're like, I'm just trying to get to a 10K a month, and I'm doing 10K a day, which is crazy. But then you start implementing things. I see you leveling up, getting clients. You're like investing money to speak when it's the last bit in your bank account.
That left me with like $100.
But that was a game changer because that investment, right?
One sec. Yep. My alarm for my third meal.
So like that investment though is like something that I would do. Well, I'm always going to bet on myself. If it's like this thing over here or this, and it's like, all right, it's going to be $900 and I got $914 in my bank account. Guess what I'm doing? I'm betting on myself every single time.
Yeah, you said this one time, when you get a mentor, it's not about all the tactics that you can take from them, but it's about the belief systems that you can embody. And that is one thing that I definitely have gotten from you. Like in that situation right there, I was on the fence. I was like, do I do this? Do I not do this? Do I do this? Do I not? And you were like, oh, bro, you need to do it. Like, this is an opportunity. Like, take it. Why would you not? And I don't know if I told you at that time, but I didn't have really the money. I had $1,000. I still had to pay for all my subscriptions to run my business. And then I got there that day with $100. I got us 2 drinks, and then I got my parking. And my bank account was left like $30. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Sure enough, I left that day, came home the next day, and then I got 6 clients from that. And it was just like, it was life-changing, because at that time I only had $2,500 a month in recurring revenue. And for me to take on 6 clients, like, I think that was $15,000.
It's crazy.
And I couldn't even believe it. It was life-changing. It was. And so having not bet on myself, I would have not been there. And I don't even think I would have bet on myself if I didn't, have you.
Yeah, and that was crazy because Cody asked me, he called me and was like, man, Blake's young, but I just don't know that much about him, and what's he going to get up there and talk about, and usually it's this and that. And I was like, man, just give him 10 minutes. I was like, here's one thing I do know. There's a lot of people that's going to be in that room that don't use social media, and he is 20 years old, and he probably knows more about social media than everybody in that room combined. And the average age of the people in that room is about 40 years old. So you need somebody young up there to kind of switch it up and talk about the new things that are going on. And I was like, from what I know about him, he's helped me grow my business. So I can only tell you that the results of the stuff that he's been helping me with has helped me go from 900 to 90,000. So you can kind of say, he's kind of an expert in that. He's helping me with it. He's doing it for himself. So I was like, man, that was step one. And then the other thing is to be 20 years old, to get in a room full of people that are like, could be your father, right? Or your mom. To get in there, and that takes a lot of conviction and confidence. And when you said you were 20 years old, bro, you turned so red because this one dude just stood up and just started clapping, and then everybody started clapping. Dude, that was a great moment, bro.
I didn't know what to do. I mean, my cheeks got so red. At that point, I think my mind went blank. I was like, oh, all these people are clapping for me. I'm like, I just feel like a normal kid, right? And so it definitely threw me for a loop. I was standing there blanked out looking at everybody, and I was like, actually, yeah, this wraps it up. Hey, see you guys. But it went awesome, and I think everybody got the message. I think it was definitely one of the best things I could have done for myself in that moment.
Yes.
It kickstarted my business 100%.
Dude, think about all the other stuff that happened there, right? So the first thing was his authority of being in the greatness factory. That event was, the energy at that one was probably the best, right? Because it was small. It was the first one. Coach Bird came out swinging. Cody had a lot of people there. Dave Witcher had like 20 people there. Another lady had like 50 people there. So it was a bunch of people that were believers and fans. And then Dave Witcher went to go speak first. So then we're like, oh shit, we need to have one of these banners like he had. So I'm like, hey, create one of these. So
we both had one.
Yeah, so you went and created one in Canva real quick. And then from there, speaking on stage, and the branding and content, authority-driven stuff that came from doing that was well worth $1,000, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, even if nobody was in the room, you know what I mean? Even if nobody was in the room, for me to put my suit on, be standing there, have that backdrop, all of it was definitely crazy.
But to have the image of people clapping while you're standing there too.
It was different. Yeah, because I came in, and I don't know, I was nervous as hell, and I was like, you know what, I need to do something to get my energy up, and everybody else's was kind of like quiet. So I ran through, and I was like hyping everybody up, high-fiving them and stuff as I came through, and that made me feel a lot better as I was coming in. I was like, all right, now people are excited. Now I can talk about something that's not so exciting, but people feel a little bit of an edge. Now they're a little bit eager to hear about it.
Yeah, and the reason why people stood up and clapped, I think, is because at 20 years old, I can tell you what I was doing. I was hanging out in bars. I was chasing chicks. I didn't have my life together. My mom was still paying my cell phone bill at the time, right? And for you to be 20 years old, being an entrepreneur, being a business, paying $1,000, which I didn't have $1,000 back then, to speak on stage, not knowing if you were gonna, make a return from that. Like, that's a salute, bro. That's a huge salute. So we can say, you're betting on yourself. That we wish we had that courage at that time. Some people did, but a lot of people honestly didn't. And so doing that is like one step betting on yourself and investing in yourself. But I'm curious now, as we transition to you not just having $1,000 in your bank account, right?
Yes.
To what were some of the struggles? Because I know we talked about this before. Just like, dude, I was doing content for Arturo, and I'm writing these scripts and editing these damn videos, and it's pissing me off. He's like, change this, right? Like now, as you're transitioning to helping people create an offer as opposed to just doing the done for you, escaping the 9 to 9, right? So you escape a 9 to 5 to get a 9 to 9 as an agency, and now you're teaching content agencies how to productize their service and create an offer so you can remove yourself from the day-to-day operations of, I don't know what agencies kind of experience, but what has that been like, and what are some of the challenges that content agencies have that you were like, dude, I hate this?
So yeah, I'll just start with the struggles. When I was running my agency, it was a struggle because one, all the service that comes with it, right? Especially in the beginning, you have very little like people and team, and when you're trying to manage it all, you have so much like that you have to actually get done, and then you get the check and you're like, well, now shit, I have to pay the editor and this and that, and then by the end of it, this $2,500 like like invoice that was just paid ends up being like $600-700, and you're like, I did all this work for $600, and then you just have this thought process of, it's okay, I'm gonna scale it, I'm gonna get more, and then you go to get more, and then you realize how much time is actually being taken. And I realized that I can talk to people, I can help provide them the same result and spend less of my time. They have a more predictable system in place, and in the future, right, when they're done working with me, they can take the information that they've been given and give it to any of their new team members, right? And they'll always be able to carry that. So my thought process was just, why run this agency, have all this stress, all this overhead, like loss of profit, when I can help people get the exact same results and reap the benefits of all of those things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so let's dig a little bit deeper though. So what were some of the things that was just killing you? It's like, I hate doing this every single day. Like, what were some of the day-to-day things that you were having to manage and to do for clients and running the business?
Well, in the very beginning when I was editing, that was horrible. And then I realized I didn't have to do that, so I got an editor. And then it was still horrible, because having editors, even though they may do great work, you're playing like almost as a middleman. And so you're having to have the client tell me, hey, I want this revisions, can I get this changed, or can I get you to make this video for me? And it's like, wow, we agreed on 30 videos, but I mean, I guess I'll do these other 5 videos, I'll bite the cost, right? And then having to go to the editors and then telling them that, like, hey, can you knock this out for so-and-so? But they're also on a 12-hour time difference, they're overseas, right? So having to get a hold of them, and then the client's coming back to me and saying, hey bro, it's been 3 days, where's my video? You said it would be done. And I'm like, I can't really do much, I'm not the one touching the videos, it's these guys. And so I just had like people who were unhappy, and luckily with you, like, you were always pretty patient with me, you know, and like you kind of understood where I was at and what I was doing. But I mean, you even like experienced it where some days it would be 4 or 5 days before you get a video back.
Yeah.
Because just the miscommunication and things. Like, I really, more than anything, just like to talk to people. And I feel like I was just not happy having to manage everybody else when it was costing me so much in return, you know?
Yeah, you feel like you're kind of babysitting, and it's impossible. It's an impossible situation, and then I'm sure it was impossible once you get all of it done, and then somebody's like, "Hey, can you change this or change that?" Right? Well, I don't like this. So, at one point, did you like, okay, I got to make some changes? Like, what was the culmination? What was the thing that was the straw that broke the camel's back? And it was like, F this, like, I got to change this business or I'm shutting this down.
So I didn't even know that I wanted to do the consulting until I did that speaking event that we were just talking about. Because then I got all those new customers that I didn't have before, and it was like an influx of business. And now I was on the hunt for 2 more video editors who could help me out. And I was trying to manage it all, and then I was like, this is just way too much. So then I asked one of them like about the consulting structure and if they were interested in like the calls, and I was already entertaining that idea with somebody named Michelle. And so I was already on the fence of doing this, wasn't sure if I should or not. And whenever Dan agreed to it, I was like, all right, I mean, if he can say yes to this, I'm sure that I can get other people to say yes to this as well. So I pitched them all, because they'd already been paying me for the agency service, so the price and everything never changed. But
just the way you delivered it was changing.
Just the way that I delivered it.
Okay.
And so I went to them and I was like, hey, I think that we're gonna have a lot better results. I think you guys are gonna be happier if we go about it this way. And everybody kind of agreed with me on that. So it was a pretty easy shift for me, thankfully. When I did it though, it made a world of difference. Like my profits and the amount of stress that I had and just the amount of time that I was spending. Like my actual life itself became better. I had time to go out and enjoy lunch and go out with my fiance and actually go and take time to enjoy my life rather than spend. I literally, when I was running my agency, would stay up entire nights some days just because I had to get the work done and I had projects that needed to be completed by the next day.
Yeah, man. It's so funny that you say that because, like, that's why I shut my agency down too. I was just like, it was driving me absolutely insane. And most people get to about $30,000 to $60,000 a month, and they realize what you're doing. Imagine, five times that, having that $325,000 a month, helping life insurance agents with lead gen, marketing, and sales, and we're spending 10 grand a day on ads, right? Well, the problem with that is that Stripe only pays out Monday through Friday for the most part. So Saturday and Sunday, that's $20K that you got to float till Monday, right? So 4 weeks in a month, that's $80,000 every single month I got to float to keep this thing going. And that was cool because I'm making a nice little bit, but the profit margins was like 20 to 30%. So I'm looking at making, 320,000. I'm looking at 60, and I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, all right, what can I do? I can keep trying to make the ad costs go down, but I'm like, the model is broken. Like, I've already went 5 times past when I should have created a better offer. And then when I switched, man, I was so scared. I lost a bunch of clients in this, but funny enough, my profit doubled when I switched to a productized service. Now, one thing I did do is I kept a few clients on hand just so my basic expenses didn't go back to zero, which that's a safety net that I did keep for a couple high-level clients, because that makes sure that I got testimonials, I got social proof, I got things that I can share from ad accounts, and like all these things that I have control of to create the narrative of my business. But man, the best thing I did and the scariest thing I did was shut down and lose $325,000 in revenue, go down to like 80K. That was scary, but it was the best decision that I made because I needed to. I wasn't sleeping. Either. I remember Easter, my breast and heartbeat was like 120. Because I was too worried about on Friday going and coming back, and then there was a holiday. That was the worst time. Anytime the holidays came up, it was another day. Yes.
I moved in on Easter this day.
Yes, and so because I went to Indiana, and if there was a holiday, that made it even more stressful because that means that the cash that was supposed to come in on Monday, it didn't come in until Tuesday. So now I got to float another 10K. And I was like, dude, I can't keep doing this.
No, I don't know how you did it. I mean, I was already stressed doing that. I mean, you had been in business for a lot longer, so you were kind of used to it and accustomed to the stress. But I don't know how you did it. I want you guys, though, those of you who are watching this, to recognize what he just said. If any of you are running an agency or you're considering shifting into the consulting model, like he said, he kept around some of his higher ticket clients, kept that service base around just so he could make sure that things were tight when he was making his shift, make sure that he was good. I did the exact same thing. As I was shifting, I made sure that my clients who I began to consult still had access to the video editing side of things, so that as I made my shift, we were comfortable. So if any of you are shifting to the consulting model from your agency, just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So the shifts that you needed to make was to have conversations with your clients, right?
Yep.
So you can either have a conversation to transition them or you can fire them, right? And then obviously that unlocked your time freedom, that unlocked profit, that unlocked you to not have to do the work for them to get the results, so that you can focus on other areas of growing the business, which just gets back on the phone to make sales or create content. Because there's no way that you can create content when you got a complaining ass client sending you paragraphs of messages and stuff like that. Yeah. So that removes you from some of that stuff so you can get back into a creative space. But also made us a lot happier, right? When you don't got to manage, because now you're not the hero of the journey. They're the hero and you're the guide, right?
Yep.
So that's a huge shift.
What's that phrase? You can lead a horse to water something, right?
Yeah, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah, you just can't make them drink. And I like that because it is, right? Like, they have to be the king and the queen of their own stories. They have to be the ones to actually get the work done. I have a framework, a system that I know works, and I can take you through it step by step and show you exactly how to replicate it. But like we were just talking about earlier, without implementation, like, there's no way that any of this is going to work. So
yeah. And so in regards to the agency model, what are some of the cons that most people who are watching this, if they're just thinking about starting an agency or they have one and they don't realize that these are cons, that the pros are if you do this new age way of consulting where they can still get the same results, they just don't have to depend on you doing the work for them. Like, what were some tangible shifts that you made? So you were doing the content for them, and then now you the same, they can get the same result with a different solution. So we can talk about what the different offers look like.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most pivotal pieces is showing them what, like helping them identify their ideal content style and helping them figure out what they're trying to achieve through their content, the message that they're trying to provide, and then helping them find an editor from there.
Right. So before you were editing the content for them, helping them shoot it, and you're scripting, right? All of that.
Yep. So actually, you were one of the only people I would shoot for, just because, like I said, I was trying to do as much as I could to learn from you.
Right.
Everybody else I was just editing for and then writing scripts for. And then eventually I started to like try and build out the team of editors, which just became even more of a headache.
Yes. So you went from editing, scripting, shooting content for agency owners to then showing them frameworks and templates that you created, the most viral hooks, and giving them frameworks for them to create them on their own. And then instead of you editing them, you cut that part out and introduce them to an editor or placed an editor in their business. And now you're more of a creative director, kind of manager in the business, guiding them, and you're still meeting with them, so they're still getting that one-to-one feel. It's just not done for you, it's done with you.
Yeah, it is. It is done with you, and that's something that's really cool about Zoom right now. I don't know if you know this, but you can take remote access, and as soon as you get somebody on there, maybe they don't have their funnel built out or their landing page isn't totally complete, or maybe it just needs to be changed, right? I can go in, I can take remote access of their computer and then start helping them right there on the spot with it. Now, typically I don't want to spend the coaching calls, doing that kind of stuff with them, but if it's something that they really don't know how to do, something they really don't understand, and something they really need to be shown, then I love that feature.
Yeah, man, and that's one of the things that we were talking about beforehand is like the thing about coaching and coaches is you just don't need to just give them high level stuff. There needs to be that in frameworks, but there also needs to be some tactical things, because we're coming into these programs and we got things all tangled up, and if we're still having to just think through it ourselves, that's what's making it more tangled. We need somebody to say, hey, here's what it looks like. We need to lay it all out. You walk over there, I'm going to walk over here, and we're going to untangle this thing together, and I'm going to give you some tactical things. So when you're on a coaching call, right, like you need to show your expertise as well by getting in there and relieving that tension, because people are coming on these calls, man, they're frustrated. They may act like they're polite and kind of calm, but man, they're all frustrated. You know what it is when you can't figure something out. Somebody shows you how to do something, you're like reading the directions, trying to put something together, and it's like, that's not how it freaking goes, right? Or you coming up on this screen that you can't get past, and they can come on a call and you can help them untangle that. That's a huge part of coaching, and I feel like we're getting away from like actually helping people get the results, and we're just giving them information and just talking to them about stuff, man.
I mean, honestly, that's the beautiful part about being an expert, right? Like, we have the ability to read the room, or read the Zoom, I guess, and just kind of get a feel for that person and where they're at, what they're actually running into, because we've already faced it ourselves. And so if I know they need something tactical on the call, I can spend time, covering tactical things. But sometimes I get on the phone and I'm just like, I already gave you all the tactical things you needed last call. You haven't done them, so clearly there's a different problem. It's maybe not the tactical. It's maybe something more mind work, right? Like maybe you are actually, maybe you're just stuck in your head, and we need to just sit down and figure out like what the bottleneck inside of your mind is, what's keeping you from actually pushing forward. So that is something that I do enjoy about taking the coaching calls, is sometimes people don't know what to do, but sometimes people just don't know how to act.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like people overlook and skip the mindset section of so much stuff. If I look in Kajabi at my course, like everybody skips to the tactical, the Facebook ad stuff, and they skip over the mindset stuff. But the mindset stuff is what made me $10 million online, man.
Everybody wants to think that they have it all figured out,
Yeah.
Even me, when I first met you, like I have had to learn to not be a know-it-all. right? Like when I was young, my parents used to just call me a know-it-all all the time. And I really have had to just learn to like listen and like hear every word that you say, and just like, I do it now with everybody, and just like really paying attention. And if somebody has some type of piece of advice, and don't do this for everybody, right? If the person, if somebody's giving you advice and they're not where you want to be, maybe don't listen to
Yeah,
them. But,
don't take marriage advice from a single person.
yeah, exactly. But you know, with you, in my case, you're doing exactly what I want to do. So anytime that I got advice, it was always just like, you know, one foot in front of the other. I'm going to take what he says, just do it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the mindset piece, right? Because it's like people skip over that. And so I came in from the ultimate mindset person in Sam Muffins, right? Like I came in through Consulting Accelerator. I had to borrow $900 from my mom to join that program. And she's like, $900? Like, you want $900 from me? And I'm like, yeah, I need to join this program so I can start this business. And she's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to make it back. And I promise I'm going to do it. And again, now, you know, I take care of my mom. She got a new car. I live around the corner from me. I pay all our bills.
That's all you ever spent.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I knew when I saw that webinar, I watched it 3 times and it's 3 hours long, bro. And there ain't no skipping it. And I remember I was cooking tacos for lunch and I got an AirPod in and I'm waiting for it because he only had it as a webinar that came on at 2 and 7, and I missed the 2 o'clock because I was waiting tables at the Southern. Shout out to the Southern being right here, baby, which is crazy. And so I'm waiting tables in the Southern, and so I didn't get off lunch till 2:30, so I missed the first one. I get home, I'm like, dang, I gotta wait till 7, and I get the email, and I'm clicking it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is it. But the problem was it was $2,000 up front. I didn't have $2,000, and then it was 6 payments of $497. And the reason why I got $900 from my mom is because I wanted to have a little bit so that the next month, if I needed to make a payment, I only needed to come up with $100 from out of my check. And that's usually what I had left over from waiting tables after all my bills was paid. So I got the course, and man, the mindset was a game changer for me. Right. And a couple things that I still do to this day is I have this manifesto that talks about, it speaks about the things that I want to achieve in the present. And man, there's something about, you know, life and death is in the power of the tongue, but there's something about speaking things over your life. Like we always say, oh, you're so ambitious and this and that. But when you say, right, I'm a 7-figure earner, I help entrepreneurs to do X, Y, and Z. I'm living in a penthouse in a panoramic view of Nashville, right? Like saying that every single day, it's something that happens in your mind that you start to believe it, you start attracting these things. And I know it sounds woo-woo, but the thing is I started to believe that I could achieve those things. So I started taking the actions that would dictate what I needed to do to figure it out so that I could hit those goals. And that was the mindset was a huge piece for me. The mindset portion of that training program still to this day is the reason why so many entrepreneurs online are crushing it, because we had to get away from the old way of thinking and we had to transcend it and become a different person. Arturo 2.0, baby.
Gosh, it's crazy because mindset is actually like, I've built my mind to the way that it is now, and now it's just my life, right? Like sometimes I don't think about the mindset that I carry every day anymore, right? Before, all the time I was figuring out how can I shift my mind to thinking differently. But it is just really, it's wild because in manifestation, I feel like the only way to manifest the things that you want into reality, right? If you can see it with your third eye in your mind, you can hold it. And I think that is very, very true, but I also think the only way that does become reality is with faith and like belief, right? If you don't believe it, right? Like you said, you would say it so much that you tricked yourself into just believing it until it was reality. Like you won't have it. And so like everybody wants to do their affirmations and say, I am this, I am that, and have the vision board and this and that. But if the picture just sits on the vision board, if you just repeat a phrase, like it does nothing, right?
Right.
It takes the actual belief of like, this is who I am, this is what I'm becoming, and maybe I haven't achieved it yet, but I'm going to be until I become.
Yeah, man. And that just comes down to the old parable of faith without works is dead. So you can believe all you want, but that's just one piece of it. You got to get up and take action, right? And I just remember I would wait tables at night, and then I'd get off at 12, and then I would come home and do some of the training and work on the business till about 2 a.m. till I was too sleepy. And then I would go to bed and have my alarm set for 6 to get up before Alex and Jaden at that time. Actually, Jaden wasn't even born then. I would get up before I had to take Sierra to school. Damn, I'm getting old. It's crazy. She just graduated from school. So I would have to take her to school. So I would get up at 6 because she had to get ready at 7:30. And I would work on the next step in the business. Then I would come back, work on it some more, and then probably about noon, eat lunch, take a nap, and then I would get ready to come to the Southern and wait tables. And I did that for 6 months. And I went from 0 to 10K a month in 6 months and 29 days. And I was like, man, I got to get out of this restaurant business. And every day I was there, I embraced the feeling of how much I wanted to be an entrepreneur and work for myself, that I was like, I can't continue to do this. Something's got to change. And in the words of Jim Rohn, in order for things to change, you got to change. And so the mindset that I had was, I have the tools now. I've been wanting for this. I've been praying for this opportunity, but I'm like, now I got to do something with it. And I feel like people, even on calls I take, man, I've been watching all your content. I've been following you X, Y, and Z. I've been looking for a system like this, and they still don't take action. It's been like handed to them on a silver platter. So how do you focus on knowing what action to take and when to go all in and when to kind of scale back? Like, how do you navigate that?
This is a perfect question for right now, because right now, like over the last couple weeks, I have felt like I was in this little bit of a funk. And I think sometimes we just have such an influx of information, and all these things just start to pile up and just jumble up in our minds. And then we have so much on our plates at the same time, things that we're trying to manage: life, business, relationships, all of it, right? And then eventually it just begins to become so chaotic that I can't think about one thing or the other. It's like everything is just crossing my mind all at once. And when I feel like that, that's when I pull back and I take a step back and I try to just look at everything from an outside perspective. I don't focus so much on everything. I'm not working so hard. I'm more so just trying to play my cards smart, right? Because I'm a hard worker, you're a hard worker, and sometimes it's easy to just work really, really hard and then not even realize that for the last 3 or 4 days you've been working in the wrong direction. And so I pull back when I feel like I'm jumbled.
Yeah.
And I go all in when I feel confident in the decision. So today, me and you did our coaching session, and I feel so much clarity in where I'm at and where I'm headed and what I want to do. Kind of like when I first started my business and I discovered this whole thing. And so, I think it comes in waves, and which is also hard to manage sometimes, because I know in business we have to have momentum. But sometimes it's inevitable, right? Sometimes you can't escape the hard times, and sometimes you do have those greater seasons, and that's just the way the business goes. And so, when I have something that just feels right, and it's something that I believe I can actually do, I go all in. I will more than likely spend all night the next morning, working on that thing, just because I sort of obsess over it.
Yeah, man. And one of the things that you mentioned that was so true for me is it does come in waves, and it's like the higher you get, the higher the waves and the bigger the crash. So you just really got to kind of navigate that, which is treating it as sprints, because we are working so hard. We're finding the answers. We're building a plane on the way up. We're consuming. We're pivoting. We're making changes on the fly just based off of certain things. The market's always changing. The online marketing space is moving so fast. AI is coming in, and you're trying to stay ahead of the game. You're trying to keep your edge. You're trying to differentiate yourself, but you're also trying to be fulfilled, and you're also not trying to sound like everybody else all at the same time, but you're also trying to get results, and you're also still trying to level up, and you're trying to have your personal life and your business life and your social life. And it's just a lot. And sometimes you just got to kind of take a step back for a little bit and realign with am I why am I doing all of this? And is this really what I want? Or am I just looking at somebody's Instagram and seeing that they, got an RA and I just want to get one because they have one? Or do I really need that right now in this season? Right. And so it is a challenge, because for us, like, we're consuming content for research purposes, but the truth is that it affects us the same way as it does a consumer. It does influence us.
Yeah, I know. And that's really hard too. I mean, like, I've had to try and find ways to stop watching people's content, right? Like, if you ask me who are some influencers that I like base some of my work off of, I couldn't tell you one anymore, because I've literally stopped watching them. It's just distracted my mind. If I've figured out anything, right, it's that every problem inside of my business, I already pretty much know what I need to do, unless it's the extreme tactical, right? Like us breaking down the tacticals as far as the ad campaigns and the VSL earlier. That's the stuff that, like, I'll go and I'll watch some content on YouTube, you know what I mean? But now for Instagram, I've completely quit watching other people trying to gather ideas. Like, I've come to the realization that people are going to watch me because of me and my story. And if I try to replicate other people and what they're doing, then it's not authentic to me. And like, I have a crazy story. I have a lot that I've done and that I can talk about. And so, yeah, for me, I feel like YouTube and putting out content on social media is one of the best way. Honestly, I just played with that computer and I lost my train of thought.
Well, just talking about, how you want to, like, shield your mind from consuming so much people's content.
Oh, yeah. So I feel like Instagram is one place that I don't consume people's content anymore. I use YouTube to learn. And when I'm trying to make my own content, I write down 30 words and I literally make a piece of content around it, right? If you give me one word right now.
Personal brand.
All right, I'm about to make a video about personal brand. This is your phone. We're gonna make one right here on the podcast. No, we're not. Okay, your phone is broken, huh?
Yes, it's broken.
All right, but anyways, this is how I would
grab
do it.
yours.
Okay, yeah, grab mine. All right, so literally, I like to take one word, and then if you give me a word, I can make a piece of content around it. All right, so what's up, guys? I'm sitting here on a podcast with Arturo right now. I told him, I said, give me one word and we're gonna make a video about it. And he said, what?
Personal brand.
Personal branding. So if you are out there and you run a business, an online business, whatever it is, brick and mortar, and you aren't focusing on building your personal brand, you're doing yourself a disfavor. Because as you gather attention, people wanna buy from you, right? Whatever your service, product, or offer is, it's likely that people have the exact same thing to offer. So you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. And the best way to do that is by building a personal brand. So we'll see you guys in the next video.
Let's go.
Right?
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is I was listening to a podcast as I was getting ready and driving over here, and Omar El Tukuri was talking about all of the people who are 35 and 40 years old that are like too old to get on social media and do content, and that was speaking right to me. And one of the things that he said is you want to create one of none content. We almost done. We'll create one of none content. And basically what that is create the content that you can only create, yep. Which is talking about what you have done and your journey through that, because nobody else can create that one.
Nobody else can replicate your story.
Yes, and he was just talking about this one guy had a YouTube video that got 1.9 million views talking about my 30 years of experience on how to build a business from 0 to X, to 10 million or a million or whatever it is. And he's like, that's one of none content. And the way that you can do that is by talking about your experience, about what you have done, right? I have this saying that don't tell them what you're gonna do, show them what you did, right? And that's what I feel like a lot of times in this space is monkey see, monkey do. Is like the easiest way and the clarity that you get is, instead of like talking about this thing over here, is just showing people what you did, how you went from to escaping the 9 to 9 done for you, to creating an offer to unlock profit, scale, and financial freedom, time freedom, clarity in your business, right? That's so easy to talk about now because you did that.
Exactly. And I like talking about it, you know? It's something that now I spend so much time every day talking about it, doing it. And like me and you talked about, going to the masterminds, doing the events, connecting with the people on all of this. It's it's honestly fun for me at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I hope you have got a ton of value from the Brand Blueprint podcast today. Blake, man, if people are listening to you and they're like, I love the expertise about brand building, taking Arturo's content from 900 to 90,000 is crazy in 12 months, and they're looking to connect with you, and especially if you're a content agency and you want to escape the 9-to-9 grind and you want to start to have that financial and time freedom by creating an offer and productizing your service and removing yourself from the results from your clients, how can they get a hold of you, bro?
So on Instagram, you can find me at It's Blake Thompson. There's no P in Thompson. And you can find me on YouTube too for just Blake Thompson. And I wanted to go ahead and put this out there before we wrap this up. This podcast is an awesome podcast. Arturo creates an incredible environment. He makes you feel super comfortable on camera. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, if you're out there, you're building your business and you're looking at this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, wow, one day I wanna be on Arturo's podcast, I promise you, you're not far off. Just keep grinding.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Blake, man, this has been one for the books, bro. I can tell you that I'm proud of you, and I know that the best is yet ahead for both of us. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.